Are you ready? The Cornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Cornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Cornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cornelia Stephanie Show. It's Friday today, and we have our stories of hope. I have a really good show for you today, and I'm really excited about our guests. Our first guest today is Kenny J. Wilkins. He hails from the quaint town of Englewood in northern New Jersey, where his musical journey began under the influence of legends like Sylva Robinson and Dizzy Gillespie. And he has a strong foundation in church music and his father's guidance. Kenny's passion for music blossomed. In the early 90s, he delved into music production and mastered various instruments such as drums, keyboard, organ, bass, guitar, and guitar. His involvement in diverse projects spanning hip-hop, R&B, Latin, and gospel music solidified his place in the industry. Graduating from the Institute of the Audio Research in Manhattan equipped him with the skills to propel his career forward. Kenny J. Wilkins, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. How are you? I'm appreciative to be on. Miss Q. I got to get this name, Miss Stephanie. Can I call you that if that's okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
Absolutely.
That's fine. No, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful that you're out there now, that you are elevating, because that's what I got from our just quick talk in the green room about what it is that your music is about. So do you want to take us back to a little bit of backstory about how everything prepared you for where you are now?
Well, I grew up in, sure, of course I can. I grew up in Englewood, New Jersey, as the bio said. I am from that small town where so many different people are filled with talent and so on and so forth. As I matriculated through life, music has just been at the very, very beginning of it, at the very start of it. I wake up with it on my mind, I go to bed with it on my mind, and I'm probably more or less going to be dreaming about it. If I'm dreaming, if I can remember the dream, if I can't. I remember small as a young guy, playing the guitar at church, and I was just interested in the music. I wasn't necessarily interested in the message. And as soon as the message started, I would fall asleep. As soon as that music would strike up again, I'm awake and I'm playing around. And I carried that all through, high school. I played football, was really good at it, and just decided that football wasn't for me. I didn't have the passion for it. As a freshman, I'm starting varsity. So that kind of tells you I was pretty good. Music was in my bones, and I got laughed at because I quit the football team as a starting guy on offense and defense, and they saw me strumming or playing the bass drum with the high school band. And of course, you can imagine how many people laughed at me, but it was just something that was in my spirit, in my heart, and I couldn't stop. And just grew up and enjoyed doing it and continuously did doing it. Now I'm still pushing the essence of music, and my message is probably more likely going to be love. It's going to be respectful and responsible relationships. As a healed man, a dad with 3 children and a grandson, and that's just been the story for me. I was just kind of enjoyed to play music, but more or less enjoy giving the message of hope, love, positivity, empowerment, and all that sort of stuff. So even though it's in the R&B realm, it still talks about empowering people, loving people, no matter what walk of life you're with. I don't care about your sexual orientation, your financial stability, wherever that lies, wherever it is, everybody needs a level of love. And my music is going to have that, and it's going to continue to have that, have that until it's all over. But that's just what it's going to be for me. Yeah.
That's a beautiful legacy. That's a
Yeah.
beautiful legacy.
Yeah.
I love how you articulated this story, because it really just goes to show you how much music has meant to you and
Yeah.
how you're living the
Hmm.
music, and now you even solidified your message even more, and that is about empowerment of people, and it's
Hmm.
about love. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's not about division.
Right.
It's not about being separate from each other. It's about what can we do to respect each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the people say everybody knows when wrong enters the room. But sometimes it's very crazy that we won't speak power to it. We won't use our gift and what we're positioned on this earth to do to speak power to what that is. For me, I think it's hopefully should be something that everybody grabs a hold of, is that when you see the love isn't the way it needs to be, it is our job, we're here on the earth, to put correction towards it. And for me, as an artist, if I see the industry and the way the industry is going now, you see so many things going on, it's just too much to even make mention of. You would see that either somewhere along the line, someone compromised what the love was, and it gets to a point where it's disrespectful. And I am just not the guy to kind of perpetuate the idea of what it's not supposed to be. My job as a gifted artist, I would think so, is to just put that essence back into the world and be a protagonist of just making sure that that is something that is speaking in my music loudly.
Yeah, so you write your own songs?
I do. I write my own songs from so many different areas, whether it be I can ride down the street and see something. Um, Yeah, every one of my songs is written by me. Every instrument on the records are done by me. Every sound that's tweaked, every volume, everything on that record is done by me. That could be a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, but I just have so much passion about it. I just have to feel it that way and have to kind of put it out that way. So yes, to make a long story short, yes, everything is
Yeah.
done by me. Mm.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Well, I just want to give you a little bit of a tidbit here.
yeah.
Back in 2000 and what was it? 20 uh 14, I
Hmm.
wrote a book called Peace, the flip side of anger. Peace is the
Hmm.
flip side of anger,
Hmm.
and how I use my emotions to heal my life and my body, and how you can too.
Yeah.
Through that experience in publishing that book, I also wrote a song,
Mm.
and I'd love to meet with you
Yeah.
privately.
Absolutely.
Maybe, just maybe, that is a song you might want to sing. It's actually it's a rap song, and maybe
Oh,
you do something with it because it's just been sitting on my computer. It hasn't gone anywhere, but
yeah.
I would love to hear it. I'd love,
That's exciting.
yeah.
I enjoy and would gratefully accept that challenge. Bring it on. I would love to
Okay,
see it.
cool. I'll have Ashley connect us where we can meet privately, and who knows
Yeah,
where that's going to go, but
who knows?
maybe that's what it was for you to come here today and
Maybe.
um, you know. So I just love how
Mm.
you are about empowerment and how your message is about love. And that's really what we need, and how you stand up for it. And that,
Right.
because what is it that love does? Love doesn't divide, and
Absolutely.
love doesn't you know, lay down and be trampled over.
Mm.
Love is fierce. And sometimes
Absolutely.
love is messy, right? I'm sure you
Absolutely.
know that.
Absolutely. Love is something I think sometimes love is sometimes compromised in so many different ways. If you're not getting it or receiving it the way you think you need to, change whatever dynamic that is. You decide how that's going to look for you. Obviously, disrespect in any way is not loving. And I'm sure people make mistakes in certain ways. I get it, I understand. But sometimes love should always be the forefront of it. If you're not getting it in some way, shape, or form, you have to change whatever that is for you and make sure that whatever is defined as far as love, as long as it isn't disrespectful, when you define that, it has to be, I got to be a better person. And for me, coming up, I see so many different dynamics of what that love may look like. I'll go back to what I said earlier. You can discern within yourself, in your presence, that something isn't right. When you see that and you discern that and you come to a conclusion with what that is, it's your job to correct it. And for me as an artist, I see so many artists just being disrespectful in how they write music, and for whatever strange reason, those pieces get so many, get so much airplay, which is weird to me. But I just didn't want that. At a certain point in my life, I just said I can't be like that. I don't. I have children. I have grandkids. I can't be out here, just being irresponsible with the gift that God has given me, and to just kind of continue with the unloving sort of narrative that artists have. No, I wanted to be a difference maker. I wanted to be a peacemaker, and I know everything is not going to be peaceful. But being that I have the peace in my heart, in my life, and sometimes it surpasses our understanding. I wanted to be that peace that makes sure that when I sing my song and when I present something to the world, it's going to sound good and it's going to have a message for change. And that's what I'm endeavoring to.
That's your music and your intent behind it all. Everything that you're talking about will add value to
Mm,
all of those that are listening to it and that are blessed to receive it and blessed to
yes.
hear it.
Mm,
It's adding value to it. I love how you said that, you had to make a decision that
mm,
you did not want to be like the rest of the people that don't necessarily use their gift for the greatest purpose,
right.
highest purpose, because you said you have children, you have
Right.
grandchildren,
Hmm.
and they are your legacy, and they are
Absolutely.
also our future leaders on this planet.
Absolutely. And if you're not putting great information and great seed into them, you cannot expect that flower to grow and to grow prosperously. For me, the seeds that I'm planting here with my gift and what I'm putting on the earth is empowering. Those are good seed. You got to sow good seed because you're going to reap what you sow. And for me, I'm going to sow great seed and good seed. So when that seed grows, it's going to grow greater than even I was. So they're not going to have an excuse to not love or even know how that is. I wrote a song
Yeah.
they call Protect Your Heart. And Protect Your Heart was a song that my daughter and I had a conversation about. She's in college at the University of South Carolina. She's studying nursing and all of this sort of thing, but she's navigating through life. And sometimes the gentlemen that come towards your way as a high or as a college student, they're going to be irresponsible and they're not going to kind of care how they approach you. And young gentleman was trying to get something from her that was personal and just valuable to her. And, she basically said, "You don't know my mother, you don't know my dad, you don't know my favorite color. Why would I even put myself in a position to give you that?" Ultimately, she did not give in to what the peer pressure was at that time. And I wrote a song about it, Protect Your Heart, because that young lady protected her heart, which what could have been, and I hear stories following it, which kind of, man, I wish that young lady would have protected her heart. I wish that lady would have protected her heart. And it's because I'm still putting out this thing into the world. It's reflective of my kids, and my song says protect your heart because we have to protect our heart. If nothing else, we got to protect our heart. We have to love us first. Love everybody else too, but love us first and love ourselves enough where we're not going to just kind of give in to whatever is given to us.
Yeah, or you said it, not succumb to the peer pressure. I
Mm,
think it says a lot about you as a dad
mm,
and your family of
mm,
what you have created with your kids and your grandkids, what you're modeling to them,
mm.
and how, because the choice that she made in that moment
Mm.
when she was presented with that, right? Because
That's right.
who knows? But she did not. She had a high self-esteem, I would
Mm.
say.
Yeah.
She had a high self-esteem, and that says a lot about you.
Mm.
That says a lot about you because I think it's shows how important it is to have a mother and a father in the household.
Mm. Very much so. I grew up in a family. It was a broken home.
Mm.
So, so many people use that as a as a crutch to say I'm just going to be dysfunctional. That's to me, when I kind of grow and get mature in life, that's not an excuse to be, responding to whatever happened in your household. That should encourage you to be better. I always looked at it like I know who my dad and mom was. I know who my dad was. My mom's still living. I knew who they were or who they are, and I'm going to take the good out of them and use that to propel in life. I'm not going to take the negative and say, well, I'm just going to take the negative and just kind of be greater with the negative. Didn't make sense to me. So what I did was I just take that and I use it as fuel to be better. So I know who my dad was. Of course, as a youngster, you want to be like your dad or be like your parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take that as an example to say, yeah, I want to be like him to a certain point. But when it crosses over some areas, so I'm never going to say that I'm perfect,
No.
but I am going to say I am maturing and I'm kind of matriculating through life, trying to get things better in my life. And that's what it is. Once we stop at the dysfunction, yeah, we've kind of we've gave up on what real life could be. It's imagine if you would love, and everybody's not going to love. It's not going to be positive all the time, but at least if you have that heart of love, you can kind of have a great stepping stone to be better and be greater.
What a great, I just feel the feeling of what it's like to be in your household of,
Mm,
the family that you raised and just
mm,
with this message. It's
mm,
interesting because you said earlier that, when you were growing up in the church and the message that was you fell asleep during the message, but I
mm.
do think that you're singing and preaching the most powerful message there is. And I just absolutely I
Yeah,
got chills all over. So I haven't even heard your
yeah.
music yet. So I do want to hear, like, tell the audience where we can find your music, and then tell us all what your favorite song is, if you have one.
Sure, you can find my music on every digital platform that you have, whether it's Spotify, whether it's iMusic, whether it's wherever you get your digital music from, you can get it. Love is all we need is somewhere that we have You're a Woman, and I have the Back to Rhythm and Love album that I have out, Volume 1, which has a bunch of different things on here. But that You're a Woman is things that is a really great song, and it's empowering women. It kind of opened up so many doors with the Grammys and all sorts of things, and I'm grateful for it.
That sounds amazing. I
Yeah.
love that you also exude the presence of respect.
Mm,
Not only are you speaking those words, but you also want to empower respect in
mm,
others, which is
absolutely.
really, really important. Let's give everyone your social media handles where people can find you on social media as well.
Absolutely. So you can go on the website at kennyjmusic.com. You can go on Instagram at Kenny Wilkins. You can go on Facebook at Kenny J. Wilkins. And I have TikTok at Kenny J. Wilkins number 7. And I also have a new show that I'm just starting, a podcast called Real Talk, Real Thought, which discusses and unpacks a bunch of different songs. And we kind of unpack them and kind of give some tidbits on how we can live life better with songs.
Will you stay in touch with us and let us know
Absolutely.
launching that podcast? Because I
Mhm.
definitely want to listen to that.
Absolutely.
I think you're an amazing, gifted
Thank you.
man, and thank you so much for coming on the show today and inspiring us with your gifts,
Mm,
with your music, and
mm,
with your words and what it
mm.
is that you're doing out there. And we certainly need more love. I just want to thank you so much. I
Absolutely.
also want to let you know, Kenny, that the link that you have for the show today is the same
Mm,
for the replay. So people that didn't get a chance to listen to you
mm.
today, listen to us, you can send them that same link for the replay as well.
Great. Thank you, Miss Stephanie. I appreciate your time, your platform. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on. We're going to take a break on the Cornelia Stephanie Show. We'll be right back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to the Cornelia Stephanie Show. Our next guest today is Stephanie Ray. She's a board certified art therapist, licensed mental health counselor, and expressive arts therapist with over 28 years of experience helping individuals use creativity for healing and personal growth. She's an educator and an international speaker. She has facilitated expressive art programs worldwide, empowering women to reconnect with their authentic selves and build emotional resilience. Stephanie's approach blends art, movement, and mindfulness to support mental health, reduce stress, and foster healing. She also led therapeutic art responses to human and natural disasters through her work with Stars of Hope. And today
Yes.
she is on Stories of Hope. Welcome to the show today, Stephanie Ray.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, wow, that's, I love hearing the healing through art.
Yes.
That's a wonderful way to support people. And I'm sure that, all of your previous, degrees that you have in supporting people with mental health and the counseling that you've done and are doing, that really helps people in releasing and also expressing more of the things that are coming up for healing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that one of the most powerful things about it is that, many times we don't have words for the things that we've been through. And when in the world today, we're going through so many things all the time, like there's not even really space to like even contemplate what the intellectual thing is, or we intellectualize too much, but that's a whole thing. So just like being able to make art and seeing what comes out, and it's more focused on process. So we're not trying to make these beautiful pieces of art. We're just letting it come out. But some really amazing things come out. So yes, just giving people a place to express without even really having to like, we don't, as art therapists or people, me working with people with art, I don't ever tell people what their art is about. They get to tell me, you know.
Yeah. So how long does, like when you mentioned in the green room that you have an art community that you work
Yeah.
with, what does, how is that set up? Is it like an hour and a half, or how does that work?
So we have a meeting every week on Thursdays for an hour,
Mm.
and then we have one a month for an hour and a half on a Saturday. And so that's 5 sessions a month that we do. And it's just, I think a lot of the people have said, it's like a way to take care of myself. Like I know this is happening on Thursday. And even if I'm feeling like, oh, I can't do that, I have too much to do, they show up and they're like, oh, I'm so glad I showed up. Because we talk and make art. And then at the end, we share it if we want to. You don't have to share your art. So that's a thing too, because a lot of people can be afraid to show up to make art. So
Yeah.
we're not on camera showing our art or, while we're making it. Sometimes I am, and then at the end, they can show it or not, which I think, I try to make it very trauma informed so that people can do what feels safe.
Yeah, it's such an important piece to feel safe, to be able
Yes.
to feel safe. When you were talking about like when people show up and
Mm.
they, even though how busy their lives are and whatever, it's kind of like showing up to that yoga practice when you were like, oh, I'm too busy, I don't have time for it. But having that self-care and expressing um, whatever needs to come up, whatever needs to, like you said, there's no words for what we're feeling. And I mean, at this time on the planet, like you said it, there's not enough space to articulate everything that we're processing because we're going through so much change and we're closing so many chapters and we're, going through so much that it's hard to articulate all the things, right? Uh,
Absolutely.
do you find that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when I got out of school in 2017, I started working with disasters and human and natural cause disasters. And it was just like boom, 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 one after the other, one after the other. And I would fly there and show up and do the art things. And it's a total privilege and honor and all of those things. But when you're doing it, you're not really thinking about how, well, I should have been thinking more about it, but I was so excited to be out there. And I'm still kind of processing some of that. And
Yeah.
I've worked with them, through till now, but more intensively in the first couple of years. And then, we had the pandemic, and then we still have the pandemic, and then politics, and just all the things, right? Plus your own personal stuff and sicknesses. I mean, it is a lot. And
It's
I
a
don't think that the brain, I mean, I know our brains are amazing, but I don't think that my brain, anyway, can process all that, especially like if you're a highly sensitive person or an empath or things like that. So I feel like people have to find some way. And I mean, the arts are thousands of years old. So
Mhm.
it's like, okay, this is something we can go back to that's like in our DNA in some way, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's so cool that the space is created, the dates are created, the time is created to offer a space. It doesn't have to be a perfect work of art, but
No.
it can be just, whatever is up for you at the moment. I do
Yes.
agree with you. We are processing so much, going through so much. The mind, our third dimensional mind, is not able to keep up with all the changes. It's too much because the mind is always going to go back to the past and
Yeah.
all the things in the past. So we have to find a way to release all of that and let it go so that we can create the new.
Yes, that's actually exactly what we did in the Art Flow Lounge yesterday.
Oh,
We
is
did
it?
change, and yeah, that was our theme. And what are we letting go of, and what are we calling in? What do we need to grieve also? So that was kind of in the middle of it all, but it was really powerful because there's
Yeah.
people in there that just went through the hurricanes and
Yeah.
just so many things. But yes, yes, and there are the dimensions things. We could talk about that sometime too,
Yeah.
because I believe in that. I
Oh,
believe that we're bringing in a new wave, and um, I know sometimes it's hard for people to hear that because many things are so painful right now. But
yeah.
I think when we do art or yoga or meditation, anything like that, visualization, that's helping us call that in.
Yeah.
And we don't have to have all the understanding. That's hard though for people to let go of, right?
Mhm.
Because we're trained in the US culture anyway, that do the things, get the degrees, do the programs, get the things, and then you'll know. And but no, that's not really how it works.
Yeah.
But
That's so true because I mean, right now everything is so uncertain.
so
We're not living in certain times. We haven't been living in certain times, and that can ramp up our nervous system. So anything that we can do to calm ourselves and to care for ourselves while
mm,
we're going through so much that the mind can't keep up with, but the 90 minutes or the hour that we set aside to do the practice or
mhm,
to do the healing, that will help. That will help because there is an acknowledgement
mhm.
that's going on, right? There's an acknowledgement of this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm releasing and letting go of. And this is what I'm calling in. This is the world, a better world that I want to be a part of.
Yes, yes, it's
Yeah.
powerful.
It is. I mean, just even right now, you mentioned the word politics. This is really, really heavy. I
Heavy.
was saying to a friend the other day that I just can't wait for it to be over. It's like, there's been so much of it. And it's just in everybody's space. And there is a reason for it, right?
Right.
But we certainly don't know how it's going to turn out. And so that can create a lot of anxiety.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think I traveled recently and I was out in the world and it just feels like everybody's kind of like in a pinball machine. You know how you hit the thing or the bumper and everybody's just kind of like super sensitive and, just like flying off the handle easily or crying easily. Just the emotions are right at that level, right at the surface. Um, And also, one of the things I talk about a lot to myself and to people that I know and work with is that, we really have to focus on what we can control, which is ourselves. We try. And then, our family, our animals, whatever it is, right? And that we don't have to, but I invite people to believe that, those ripples make a difference.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when it gets too big and we start thinking about the too big, that's completely out of our control in many ways, right?
Yeah.
Then we got to bring it all the way back in and just know that this hour a week or whatever you want to do, is creating ripples
Yeah.
because we're
And
all connected. We're all connected, right? Like on the big.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I mean that is the way that we're making the world a better place
yes,
by those practices, by those little steps, by those times that we uh like you said, work on controlling ourselves, not to be in the state of chaos and in the state of panic or in the state of trauma response. I
right.
was I was when I was speaking with my friend the other day, we were talking about how everything feels like right now, like you're stepping on not a gold mine. What's the mine? Like
Landmine,
oh yeah,
landmine,
landmine or like there's some type of like you're what is it? There's a landmine, but it's the you're not sure on where to step
right.
because you don't know who's going to be triggered by that step.
Yes.
right? So it's, yeah.
And I think that the practices that we implement help us know how to take that step. And if we take that step and activate someone, it gives us the ability to calm our nervous systems or to be calm in those moments. Because I've had some of those out in the world on that trip where politics came up. And I was really proud of myself because I was able to remain very calm and talk about things and just ask the person to reconsider and, give, kind of, yeah. So it's like, I know that this works. I've been, I had a fire like 35 years ago and my whole apartment burned down. I drove up and it was on fire. And that's what kind of threw me into therapy, threw me literally. And my therapist was a dance movement therapist, but she also had me start doing art. And so through that, I ended up becoming an artist. Didn't even know that was there. And that happens to a lot of people because we are inherently creative. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But so yeah, it's saved my life many times,
Absolutely. You're speaking of the fire.
Yeah.
My parents lost their home in a house fire. They also drove up.
Mm.
This year. It happened in February of this year. And so elderly, I mean, my mom's 84,
Yeah.
Arnie was 89.
Mm.
So we're still dealing with all of that right now. Huge, huge, huge piece.
Yeah.
So, I'm yeah, we're still all processing all of that, the loss of all of that. We're grateful that they weren't home,
Right.
but there was definitely everything burned down to the ground.
Yeah, it's pretty devastating. And especially at that age with all the things, right? Like I
Yeah,
was younger,
totally.
but I'd still lived on my own for 5 years and it mattered. But
Yeah.
but yeah, and it doesn't even matter like if you can replace the thing, whatever. It's just very powerful. And
Yeah.
and I can't imagine going through that at 80 something.
Yeah,
Uh,
to be homeless at that age, to be homeless, because that's really where it was. I mean, that night when we were at their house and watching it all, with the fire fighters closing out, and then that night when we went to go get something to eat and find a hotel.
yeah.
That's really, so it was a lot to process, a lot to go through.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why you're helping people. I want to let the audience know, share with us your social media handles and where people can find you on social media.
Okay.
And tell us a little bit more about your art group that meets weekly.
Okay. So you can find me at theartflowlounge.com. And you can also find me at Stephanie Ray on Facebook, WRAY. I use my personal profile for everybody. So
Okay.
I don't like having all those pages. So Stephanie Ray, friend request me, and then artflowlounge.com. And the Art Flow Lounge, we just meet, like I said, 4 times a month, every Thursday for an hour and one Saturday a month. I have people that have minimal art supplies. I have an art kit that I offer. Um, once people start getting into it, they see me using something. So it's kind of exploratory. We use, people, start off, maybe they haven't drawn since they were 12, and other people are artists. So we have a whole range of people in the group. So it's very cool to see everybody helps everybody. And, like some people didn't want to show their work for a while, and then now they're showing their work. So there's just a lot of people give me the feedback. There's a lot of safety for them and a lot of ability to kind of um, make their own way. So
Grow,
yeah,
grow.
grow at their own pace, right? At their own vulnerability. They can open that and close it when they want.
Yeah.
Um, we meet on Zoom. I know, what a surprise. And I also record things. Now, sometimes if people are talking and they don't want it recorded, we pause it and then we start it again when they're done. But everybody's pretty comfortable and we know why we're there. But anyway, there's like 100 and something videos in the vault that are, recorded from the lives, but also I have like a little 6-week roadmap for people if they want to start. And it's kind of a combination between meditation, a little bit of yoga, and visual art and some journaling. So I don't know. We've been doing it for 3 years. I'm very proud of myself because think I've only had to miss like a few, and that's pretty cool, right?
That
To show
is.
up for something for 3 years at a certain time every week's powerful. And I just kind of had that realization this week. So it is $34 a month. So
Oh.
I try to make it like a fair price point. I think that's pretty fair. I know that money's tight these days. So if someone really wants to be in there and that is not working for them, you can reach out to me as well. Because my goal with the Art Flow Lounge really is to make this work accessible. And, therapy sometimes can't, it can be inaccessible for people.
The other thing that I'm finding, we're wrapping it up now, but the other thing that I'm finding is what you're saying is, through this process, through this Artful Lounge, where you're inviting people to come for $34 a month to join you,
Mhm.
it's also the opportunity for everyone to take the reins on their own healing.
Yes.
And, because it's really through their own processing, their own realization. So I think that's just wonderful. I'm proud of you too.
Oh,
And
thanks.
yeah, so it's great what you're doing.
Thank
Um,
you.
I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today,
Thank
and
you.
maybe we can have you come back in the future for
Huh,
another discussion.
that'd be fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Stephanie. And just so you know, the link that you have that Ashley gave you is the same link for the replay. So
Okay.
same one.
All
Okay.
right. Cool.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a break on the Cornelia Stephanie Show, everyone. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and tuning into the show. I'm excited to introduce you to Tivona Elliott. She's known as Lady V. She's a resilient soul hailing from Kansas, whose journey has taken her around the world, delivering God's message of liberation. As the CEO of Elliott Knight Professionals and a spiritual release coach, she's been a guiding force in many lives. In 2010, after a life-altering diagnosis of lupus, Tivona founded the Too Gone, Too Long Judgment-Free Network, a rapidly growing TV and radio platform that empowers through insightful discussion and a culture of love. Lady V's life story, marked by overcoming street life, molestation, and domestic abuse, inspired her to create a transformative program, Awaken the Rebel Within. Release, rebuild, rebrand your voice. As an evangelist at Much Prayer, Much Power, Tivona is dedicated to spreading the gospel truth of God, helping individuals reclaim their peace and freedom, and guiding them to make lasting positive changes. Welcome to the show today, Lady V.
Hello, hello. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm truly grateful for this opportunity as well. Hello.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're here. So it's interesting, when I was introducing you, your bio, and how there's a lot of things that you went through uh, that you had to overcome,
Yes, ma'am.
like the molestation and uh, the traumatic experiences that you had. Those do you feel now that those things that you endured in your life before, have those things now been healed?
Oh, yes. I am actually free of all the traumas that I had endured and encountered in my life, throughout my life. I had to learn that though, and I had to get to a place where I could find my freedom so that I could roar in my greatness. Because until I was able to release those things, there was no way in the world that I could actually just be free to shatter the silence and be able to talk about it the way I am today. And so, yes, I am truly free of all the obstacles that were standing in my way now. Like now I know that they were just little hurdles. I can jump over or go around. And so that's what I do in my life today.
Yeah. So looking at all of that, like everything that you had to correct, let's say, or release and let go and embody your new birth, if you will, that your new, how you want to move forward, um, you know, supported you. So basically, even though those were terrible things that happened to you, they now turned into gifts because it made you who you are today. Would you say that's true?
Oh, that's a fact. That is a fact. They actually made me stronger. I actually turned my triumph into power. I turned my pain into healing. And so that's where I'm at now. And I'm healed because he tells us by his stripes we are healed. And so I had to learn that. I had to figure out how to do that. And which means that I had to go through a process to be able to be healed. And I had to learn how to release. I had to learn how to let go. And I had to learn how to forgive. Not just me, but them, but for me. And so I had to be able to take accountability and face those things head on so that I could be free. And so, yes, they are my power now. They are my gifts that I use. And I don't take them lightly. I don't take them for granted. I actually use them the way that I'm supposed to, and by helping other people that's struggling to release, struggling to let go, struggling to forgive, because that's a lot of our problems. We don't want to live. We don't want to release, and we sure don't want to forgive. But if we forgive, he tells us forgive those who trespass against us. And so we have to learn how to forgive them so that we can forgive us for holding on so long so that we can heal.
Yes, I think that's so powerful. You said the words that people don't want to release. I remember a long time ago, I had this dream. I was taking a nap, and I was I was in a cave. I was in a cave, and I saw myself in the cave, and I had this bar across my shoulders, and on each bar, I had buckets of water that I was carrying, right? And I was looking at myself, and I was saying to myself, drop it, right? Drop it. And I just kept walking
That's what we do in life because
with the
we're
weight.
afraid.
I kept walking with the weight, and I had to throw like scream at the top of my lungs to scream at me to drop it when I finally heard, and then I
Mm-hmm.
right, and it was literally like that. It was so profound. And why do you think that's so hard for people to release, I mean, and let go?
That's because we've got comfortable with carrying it.
Mm.
It's like wearing a jacket. You put it on, it's comfortable. You keep it on until it starts to get hot. And then even when it gets hot, some of us still will keep that same jacket on. Even when we know we're hot. We want to take it off, but our minds say, just keep it on just in case you get cold again. And so it's easier for us to keep it on than to take it off. But for me, I like to be light as a feather. That's how I like to say it. I like to be light as a feather. So I don't like to hold on to a lot of things that holds me down, because I've realized that it not only holds me down, but it holds me back. And life ain't waiting on us. It's keep on trucking. And so I didn't want to be stagnant in my life. I want to be able to live my best life. And I want to do it the way I want to do it. And I can't do it holding on and carrying old baggage that's weighing me down. I'm gonna
That's
miss the flight.
Yeah. And through that powerful release work that you're doing now, we also mentioned the word roar. There's two things that come to mind, that, people probably resist roaring. And, there's that. And then because how does roaring and God fit together?
So he wants us to be great. He tells us we can live life abundantly. And so if we can live abundantly, that means that he don't want us to have all this baggage holding us down. So how do we do that? We have to roar in our greatness, which means we have to actually release the old pain and the old baggage and the old narrative that's holding us down. We have to learn how to overcome those obstacles that's standing in our way, meaning that he tells us that when you see the mountain, go over the mountain. If you can't go over it, go around it. Figure out a way. You know what I'm saying? He said, well, we can move mountains. So stop acting like we can't, because we can. We just have to tell our mind. We have to change the way we think. We have to change the way we see things. And so we can move these mountains. And then when you do, that's like your aha moment. It's like, oh my gosh, what? I've been living with all this hurt and all this baggage, and you telling me that I can really have been great? And then it's just this little rebel, this little person, this little girl, this little boy that was sitting inside of you that was just waiting to bust out and be like, hey, I'm here, I'm free to be me. This waiting, because that's who he wants us to be, authentically us, because he said he created us in his own image. And so we have to do that. And then once we do that, now we can rise. We can rise to the occasion. We can rise and be free. We can rise to just be freely us. We can dance in our imperfections like nobody's watching, because we're perfect throughout our imperfections. So
I love that. I love that explanation. It's really, I mean, we're yearning. We're yearning for this. I mean, and with all this change right now, with all this chaos and everything that's going on, we have a lot to release. We have a lot to let go. We have a lot to roar about. We have a lot, not at each other, but roar,
right.
right? That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
It's not roaring at each other. It's really roaring to release and let go of what's underneath there. What to discover what's underneath there, right?
Yes. You got to peel those layers off.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you've got a program that you're beginning in January that is about this process that you're talking about. And tell us a little bit more about that.
So in January, it's a 21-week process, a 21-week course. And so we do 7 weeks for releasing, and you go get these tools. And so there's a group session and one-on-ones, and you can actually choose which one you want, or you can do both. And the prices are a little bit different. But if you see this interview and you hear it and you decide to sign up, the early bird, of course, if you do it before January and you say rebel, then you will get a discount. You will get it at a discounted rate for the entire 21 weeks. And so that's what I want people to do is, let's say rebel. Like we're releasing, and we are awakening the rebel within. We are letting go and being free to be us.
Yeah, and I just want to say, next year, I mean, I'm just going to bring the astrology into it a little bit, but Pluto is moving into Aquarius, and that's really inviting us to be uniquely who we are. Be uniquely who we are. Be uniquely who we are. And that time is really coming. So it's another big change. So I think it's wonderful that you're rolling it out in January, that people can really begin, especially after the elections are over and this is all, and then they can begin in this next phase, in this next cycle that we're moving in on this planet, the evolution on this planet. What are your social media handles where people can find you?
So you can find me at www.linktree, Lady VENP. And I say that because that's where all my handles are. Everything that you need to know, everything that you want to know, and how to book a free consultation with me as well. So it's all right there, www.linktree, Lady VENP.
That's awesome. I just want to thank you so much, Lady V, for coming on. And thank you on behalf of everyone for all the people that you're inspiring to be their greatest self, to roar and be uniquely who it is that they came to be, and be those rebels that we are.
Hey, thank you again for the opportunity. I pray that everyone roar in their greatness, especially in 2025. That's going to be your season. It's going to be your year, but only you can put in the work. And so just know that you're worthy and that you are more than enough to do for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for listening to the Cornelia Stephanie Show. We'll see you again next week. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Cornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Cornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Cornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at corneliastephanie.com.